I literally went and double checked because I don't even remember what's the right way to say туфля. Рюкзак, рюкзак. Мужчина, a man. Hello and welcome to lesson 5 in Unit 2. My name is Yana. I'm your native Russian speaker. You, me, and Duolingo are gonna conquer lesson 5 in Unit 2. So let's jump right into it together. I love this one. How many options do we have here? Russia, Россия. I think I'm gonna go with that. Chin, shin. In this particular scenario, we can hear chin, which is letter ch in the beginning, and ch, sh. They definitely a little bit trickier to distinguish between, but that's why I really appreciate that Duolingo displays the words themselves, because I imagine if you're not looking at this, don't look at it, just listen. Chin, shin. If I'm gonna say it slowly, chin, shin, it's definitely much easier to distinguish between them. But if we're just gonna hear in conversation, oh, shin, which is, by the way, not a word, shin, shin, whatever. It's definitely becomes trickier. But in this particular scenario, chin, chin. It is second option to the right is chin. This is Brazil, это Brazília. And in Russian language, we often add an iya in the end of many countries. For example, Francia, France, Belarusia, Belarusia, Brasilia, just like here, Germania, Germany. So all this iya, even in our own name, Россия, it's iya. So just happened to be this way. Brasilia, это Brasilia. This is a dog, это собака. And собака in English language, dog, it could mean any kind of dog. Kind of same with собака in Russian, but there must be a reason why there is a second word for a dog in Russian language, which is пес. And пес specifically means a male dog. So собака is a dog, but if you have a female dog, in Russian you would call it собака. If you have a male dog, you would call it пес, if you want to be specific. A sweater and a backpack. Свитер и рюкзак. Свитер и рюкзак. Свитер, рюкзак, 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 backpack, рюкзак, рюкзак. Good to know. Свитер и рюкзак. Coffee and pizza. Coffee и pizza. Very useful words. My city means мой город. Мой город, we use the form of my in Russian as мой, and simply because город, according to Russian language rules, would fall under the male gender word. If we would talk about, let's say, village, деревня, we would say моя деревня. And to identify the gender of the word, typically in Russian you would look at the ending of the word, such as here, город ends with the letter d, and which makes it fall under the male gender. That means we treat it as a male object or subject. So мой город, мой пес, for example. Мой means my dog still, but specifically if you're talking about your male dog, you would say мой пес. If you're talking about собака, I would say моя собака, or моя деревня, which is a village. Деревня, the vowel letter in the end of the word makes it fall under the female gender. So мой город is the male, мой пес also is a male, моя собака, vowel in the end, it's a female. Same with village, деревня. And if we're talking about, by the way, Russian language also has a middle gender, which typically ends with a ye or o. And if we would say, for example, моё, I said озеро before, but it's such a good example. Озеро ends with the letter O, and озеро means lake, and озеро, оно моё, makes it fall under the middle gender. So мой город male, моя собака female, моё озеро, my lake is a middle gender. Мой город, my city, male gender. Моя собака, my dog, is a female gender. And моё озеро, my lake, is a middle gender. Have fun. They are women. Они женщины. Они женщины. Женщины is a plural. The single woman would be a женщина. Woman, man. Man. I don't know, I just like single man would be мужчина, and man, plural man would be мужчины. So женщины, women, мужчины, men, женщина, woman, мужчина, a man. I am a man. Я мужчина. So since we're talking about ourselves, я мужчина, if we just use simple мужчина, same form of man, of the word man, мужчина, we would use if we're talking about he, он мужчина. If we're talking about them, они, that will turn it into plural мужчины, они мужчины. Or if we're talking about ourselves as plural, we, мы мужчины. Я мужчина, он мужчина, они мужчины, мы мужчины. I am a boy, я мальчик. Same exact rules as for мужчины. Я мальчик, он мальчик, они мальчики, мы мальчики. Is this a dog or a cat? Это собака или кошка? I wonder what kind of creature. Is this a dog or a cat? Это собака или кошка? Question mark? The girl is eating an apple. Девочка ест яблоко. Девочка ест яблоко. If we want to substitute девочка, girl, with a boy, мальчик, we would say мальчик ест яблоко. If we're talking about ourselves, я ем яблоко. We're talking about they, они едят яблоко. Or we're talking about ourselves as plural, we, мы едим яблоко. Она, девочка, ест, он, мальчик, ест. Я ем, они едят, мы едим. Яблоки. Or яблоко, if it's single. Яблоки, plural, яблоко, single. So, мы едим яблоки, but девочка ест яблоко. Is the woman here? Женщина здесь? When I'm studying Duolingo on my own and for like Spanish, I often fall for the trick when they use both form of the same word, plural and singular. So here, for example, I already envisioning myself in Spanish choosing a wrong version just because I wasn't paying attention to the ending of the word. And I was like, oh, женщина, I know женщина. I was like, well, it's actually женщины. But in this particular scenario, it's a single женщина. So I'm right, yes. But if we're talking about women, then look for the letter U in the end. So in this scenario, that would be this женщины example. But since it's a single woman and we don't know where she is, we're like, where is she? Is she here? And we're like, женщина здесь? Question mark. Is this Canada or Russia? Это Канада или Россия? I've never been to Canada, so I actually don't know how different or similar it is to Russia. So это Канада или Россия? As you probably already have noticed, and maybe it bothers you if you're an English speaker, that Canada pronounced Canada in Russian and Russia pronounced Россия. So, это Канада или Россия? Question mark. Is this Italy or India? Это Италия или India? And see exactly what I was telling you about earlier, that in Russian language, we for some reason love to add the iya in the end of many countries. Italia, India, Japonia, Japan, Finlandia, Finlandia, Finland. We love doing that. I don't know why, but for many countries, we add ia, Italia, Italy, India. They are mom and dad. Они мама и папа. I personally find this a little bit weird in terms of like using this in the conversation. Maybe a child would say something like this. Они мама и папа, but I personally would just say parents. They are parents, so они родители. But I didn't make Duolingo. I am just a humble server to the best of my ability. So они мама и папа for some reason made it up here. So maybe it's a refresher for us how different mom and mama and dad and papa. Они мама и папа. But if we would be talking about single example, so just a mom or just a mom or just a dad, but we would turn into plural. So we would say they are moms, we would say они мамы, or they are dads, они папы. Or, just like I said, они родители, they are parents. So, они мама и папа. This is not my sweater. Это не мой свитер. The reason why we use мой in this scenario is because свитер, the male gender, and when we're talking about male gender, we use мой. We'll be talking about, let's say, dress. In Russian is платье, and because it ends with a ye, and often Russian language words that end with a ye or o fall under the middle gender. So платье, dress, would be a middle gender. We would say это не мое платье. Or we would be talking about a skirt, and skirt in Russian is юбка. And юбка has an end of the vowel, and it's a, and it's typically means that it falls under the female gender. So we would say это не моя юбка, это не мой свитер, male gender, это не мое платье, this is not my dress, это не моя юбка, this is not my skirt. All examples of all the genders and more wardrobe words for you. Юбка, skirt, платье, dress. There you go. But if we were talking about something plural, for example, shoes, I would say не мои, and shoes in Russian are туфли, туфли. So это не мои туфли, plural. If we would be talking about a single shoe, it would be туфля. So we would say это не моя туфля, so туфля. Туфля, I know it sounds really funny. I literally went and double checked because I don't even remember what's the right way to say туфля, but туфля. Туфля is a singular shoe in Russian, so there you go. Туфля ends with a ya, which makes it fall under the female gender. So, это не мой свитер. Let's just circle back to this. Это не мой свитер. Let's move on. And we're done with lesson 5 in unit 2. So, a lot of wonderful examples of how in Russian we pronounce different countries. We learned Brazil, Brasilia, Italy, Italia, India, India. we started to get introduced a little bit more to, I guess, like casual words like wardrobe, like свитер, which is sweater, or backpack, rucksack. I personally, sprinkled some wisdom of some wardrobe lingo, such as, юбка, skirt, dress, платье, shoes, туфли, shoe, туфля. A lot. It's a lot. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe and share, and I'll see you in the next one. Спасибо. Пока.